Hey there everybody, welcome along to Wrestling Showdown Rewind here on the W3L network. Thank you as ever for choosing to join me here today. Thank you of course for having hit the subscribe button, because that way you'll be guaranteed to be notified every time we put out literally anything here on the W3L network, and we give you something every single week, not just Wrestling Showdown Rewind. We've had other stuff as well. It's all playlisted. Go check out the archives, there's so much to watch. If you can't get enough cool W3L stuff, check out W3Lboxoffice.com, because we've got a whole bunch of fantastic events for you available to watch via digital download. Some of the biggest events in W3L history. The catalogue is expanding. It's going to be expanding again, just saying. So there's so much to watch for the historic 10-year anniversary documentary, some compilations. Get involved with the box office. There's some fantastic things to watch, and then you can get involved by seeing us live and in person. These are the dates we currently have scheduled. Obviously all is subject to change, but these ones were originally planned for last year, so the original tickets will remain valid, so keep home if you've got them. Hopefully these all come off and we can bring you more live events on top of those as well. But stay tuned to all of our social media, we'll let you know exactly where and when we're going to be, but currently this is what we're working with. Now when we do bring you live pro wrestling the way only W3L can, Crafty Connoisseur will return as our live event sponsor. You should give them some thanks by going to their web store and making a purchase. They've got some fantastic items up there. They'll send them straight out to you. They do other stuff as well. Check out Crafty Connoisseur, check out all their social media, make a purchase, tell them we said hello. And if you want to keep W3L ticking over, because again, we've got bills to pay even though we can't actually bring you live wrestling, then buy a fan support package. Prices begin at only a $5, so it's something that will suit every single budget. Whatever you can afford, we've got a fan support package for you. These are the things you get, and it just helps you help us kind of tide over until we are back up and running. And to properly show your support for W3L, buying a fan support package is great. You should also buy a fantastic t-shirt. We've got a massive range of designs, some for W3L, some for specific wrestlers. There's something you will enjoy. Get your hands on a cool W3L t-shirt. We also have DVDs as well. You can buy them, the t-shirts, fan support packages, on our website. I'll tell you about that a little later on. But let's have this week's match. We're in the year 2007 as we continue to dig back into the archives. And here is something special, because you'll be familiar with Nathan Reynolds, of course, one of the most beloved members of the W3L roster. 2007 he'd only just arrived in the World Wide Wrestling League. Now in this match he's taking on none other than the very first ever W3L Heavyweight Champion Iceman. Yes, a man who helped form the foundations of the World Wide Wrestling League has made his return, and he's going up against Nathan Reynolds. It's two big men colliding, but who is going to walk away the winner? Well, let's find out by going down to ringside for this week's match.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce here with your Wrestling Showdown Rewind. We're going back to the March of 2007 for this heavyweight collision. You will of course recognise Nathan Reynolds, and he is taking on none other than Iceman, who just shoves down. And Iceman, an integral part of certainly the early days of W3L, but doesn't really get talked about quite as much these days. Of course, Iceman, he was the first ever W3L Heavyweight Champion, winning the title in the very first W3L event way back in 2003. He would of course lose it to Rowdy Ricky Knight at our second event, Resurrection. And sort of between then and this time, in March of 2007, he wasn't around quite as much as he had been, as his first match back in W3L in a while. I'm probably regretting that, because Nathan Reynolds, who, let's not forget, had only debuted in W3L in December of the prior year, just shoving him around with ease. Because Iceman would eventually go on to be part of the inaugural Resolution event in September of 2007. Oh well, he certainly has a lot of tricks, does Iceman, and certainly using some of them there. And again, this is the first time we've ever seen him here on Rewind, and in many ways he's like almost a forgotten man of W3L. I'm sure Nathan Reynolds isn't forgetting these chops. These men are trading with each other, because again, Iceman helped build the company. He was the first heavyweight champion, but I mean, his career, as he just pummels Nathan Reynolds, mainly active around the northeast of England, although he would wrestle all over the UK and Europe, and you can see why he was so popular and so successful as he hammered Reynolds with that clothesline. Iceman's not a small man by any means, and he can take an incredible amount of punishment. Back in the day, in sort of the early 2000s, as he throws Reynolds to the floor, and this is exactly what I was going to say, because Iceman kind of became known for doing his hardcore matches, as he just clobbers Reynolds. This is more in his wheelhouse, as they say, fighting on the floor. Of course, this isn't scheduled as a hardcore match, but I mean, when it's Iceman, I guess anything goes, right? And he and Deacon Despair were like the only two deathmatch style wrestlers in the UK for a long time. They kind of set the tone. There's obviously a lot more now. There's companies that do a lot of that sort of stuff. But Iceman was one of the earliest exponents of that in the UK. He was a very big fan of Madman Pondo as he was growing up, and actually got to wrestle him back in 2003 in a sort of anything goes style affair. And it's that led Iceman to become successful. He went all over, like I say, the UK and Europe doing these hardcore style matches, and of course straightforward matches as well, competing for like the FWA, the infamous 1PW as well. And when you look at who he wrestles, like a who's who, like Jake the Snake Roberts, Tango Samoa Joe, W3L's own Joey Legend, the Sandman, Mick Foley, and so many more. When Iceman really faced some of the top competition in the world. And the fact that Nathan Reynolds is now getting the better of him is a testament to just how good Reynolds was back in the March of 2007. Of course, obviously, he would go on to become even better still. The future W3L Heavyweight Champion was Nathan Reynolds. Just stomping on the knee of Iceman. Maybe one of his weaker points, because if you take his knee out, that limits a lot of his mobility and a lot of his offense. Reynolds wrapping it around the rope. Not a man who was necessarily known for hardcore was Nathan Reynolds, but he could certainly fight. And Iceman's got such a resistance to pain, he take a lot of punishment. And Reynolds just targeting that knee. Now, Iceman would retire around sort of 2012, but he's made sporadic appearances here and there since. And I mean, as of late, he has floated the idea of maybe having another run, maybe one last run before he retires for good. So if that comes about, maybe he might return to W3L. And you've got to think W3L management would happily match Iceman against whoever holds the W3L Heavyweight Championship at the time. If only for the historical aspect of him being the first ever W3L champion. So he's running into that post. Nathan Reynolds is using whatever he can, taking advantage. And Reynolds arguing with his audience. And you see Iceman begin to recover already. Saying, bring it on, there's more of those chops. Like I say, Iceman can take a lot of punishment. The stuff he's done, being put through tables, bounced off ladders, he's landed on drawing pins and barbed wire. And still he would get up and keep fighting. He's got a really high tolerance of pain. But we'll see just how high it is and how far Nathan Reynolds is willing to push it. But again, to be fair to Nathan Reynolds, for a man who'd only been wrestling for a few years up until this point, again only debuting in W3L in December of the prior year, although he had obviously wrestled beforehand elsewhere, it says a lot that he's getting so good so fast. And again, we know the career trajectory of Nathan Reynolds. He's taking it easy. Neglects to go for a pin and brings Iceman back up to his feet. Maybe a smart move, maybe not. Oh, reversal. And there's another one of those big clotheslines. And Iceman drops all of his weight. And he's pushing around the sort of 280 pound mark, roughly. Dropping that right upon Nathan Reynolds when he absorbed some of those blows from Reynolds. Far back that clothesline landed the scent on. But it's slowing the follow up. Hooks the leg, however. But Reynolds able to get a shoulder up. I think Iceman was taking a few moments to kind of clear his head, catch his breath. And also revel in the fact he's got the crowd cheering him, because he's not always been a popular man. You know, depending on what his career goals were, sometimes he runs Reynolds' head in the top turnbuckle here. Sometimes Iceman has gone out and just broken rules after rules after rules, and the audience has not liked his conduct, but here they... Oh, right in Reynolds' face. And yet another clothesline. And this is nothing fancy. You notice Iceman's not come out with some complex submission hold. He's not trying to pull off some fancy suplex. It's a straightforward clothesline, one of the first things you ever learn as an aspiring professional wrestler. But Iceman doesn't need all these fancy things as Reynolds going back to the knee. He's able to hit a basic clothesline and it does big damage. Reynolds continuing his focus on that knee. Down upon it. And you've got to think the joints of Iceman probably have given him grief over the years. So Reynolds drops down again. He's fought all round buildings. He's been bounced off walls, slammed on solid floors. I'm sure his elbows and knees have taken a fair amount of punishment. So maybe they are the weak, but maybe Reynolds knows something we don't. You see Iceman just trying to get adrenaline flowing through his veins. Reynolds pummeling away at the knee. Maybe he's going to try and get a submission. This crowd firmly behind Iceman. Again, we're in the March of 2007. The inaugural WrestleMania's in the September. So as you can imagine, because everybody would be wanting to be part of this historic event, the biggest W3L event in history up until that point. And of course Iceman, you've got to think, would want to be back on the heavyweight championship trail. It never really happened for him, but I'm pretty sure in the back of his mind it's always been a slight regret that he was the first champion but never really managed to get it again. So again, who knows, if he does come out of retirement, maybe we might see Iceman back in W3L. And here's a reversal. Reynolds goes into the corner, Iceman just taking a moment, feeding off the energy from this red hot audience here. I think he's also trying to get some feeling back into his leg, and it was enough. He hit the clothesline. Reynolds has collapsed in the corner. Here comes Iceman again, and runs in with that knee lift. Oh, a third one, and Iceman rolls himself at the corner with that rolling body block. Reynolds had nowhere to go, and the crowd loved that. You've got to think that's the case at Iceman. See, he hops slightly, he's limping a little, fighting through the pain in his knee that Reynolds has been targeting, trying to put it to one side. He goes for the cover, but Reynolds gets a shoulder up. Iceman's not applying a lot of weight across the shoulders. Maybe he's not fully twigged that. Maybe again his knee's giving him more grief than we would think. But both men just taking a moment to get themselves back to their feet. And Reynolds doesn't always wrestle men that are as big as Iceman. I mean, he's faced Mike Musso before, but Mike's not as heavy as Iceman, and he's a bit taller, but obviously his body type is very different. See both men laying the leather with these chops. More than one! All these headbutts from Iceman! Nathan Reynolds wasn't expecting that. You don't get that from Mike Musso. And Reynolds getting clobbered with that mighty forearm. Iceman's got a hold of him. Oh, across the knee. Goes to the cover, hooks the legs, and gets the pinfall victory. And what a brilliant return to W3L for Iceman. I would imagine he maybe wasn't familiar with Nathan Reynolds. Maybe he underestimated him a little, I don't know. And he came in, and to be fair to Nathan Reynolds, for a man so early in his career, he gave as good as he got, and he fought back. He had the better of Iceman on more than one occasion. But the man sometimes known as the European hardcore icon, Iceman, he fought back. Those heavy strikes that he's known for, the hard hitting that is his hallmark. Of course, planted Nathan Reynolds full Nelson at the backbreaker, got the cover, and Iceman wins the contest here this week on Wrestling Showdown Rewind.
Iceman overcomes Nathan Reynolds. You can see why he was the first ever W3L Heavyweight Champion, can you? He helped found the Worldwide Wrestling League. He helped set the template for what would follow, so it's nice to finally bring you one of his matches here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind and pay some small tribute to Iceman there. And you never know, like you heard, he's apparently planning on coming out of retirement. He might come back to W3L, he might not, but if he does, he might be at one of these events. Anything is possible. These are currently what we have scheduled. They were planned for last year and have obviously been rescheduled multiple times, but original tickets do remain valid, so if you've got them, keep hold of them, and hopefully we can get you at these events, and indeed hopefully bring you more live events as well. Obviously all is subject to change. Crafty Connoisseur will return as our live event sponsor. We're finally up and running. Make a purchase from them and tell them that we said hello. Buy one of our cool t-shirts, because we've got some fantastic designs. Wear one and show your support for the Worldwide Wrestling League, indeed the specific wrestlers therein. You should also get a fan support package. Prices begin at £5. It just helps you help us keep ticking over until we are back up and running live. And another good way of keeping yourself occupied until we're back up and running live is by going to the box office. Check out all those amazing live events, some of the biggest events in W3L history, with all the multiple camera angles, backstage interviews, whistles and bells you can expect. All that is up there on the box office, so get involved in that. If you want to buy DVDs, because who doesn't love physical media, if you want to buy a fan support pack, if you want to buy a t-shirt, you can do that by going to our website. It's w3lwrestling.com. Send to the mailing list while you're at it, and of course make your purchase there. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us over on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And of course use that hashtag. What do you think of Iceman? Would you want to see him back in W3L? And if so, who should he face? What do you think of seeing Nathan Reynolds so early in his career? Get in touch, engage with us here at the Worldwide Wrestling League. They can come back in 7 days' time, because I will continue dipping in the archives. I will bring you another fantastic historic match, and it'll all go down right here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind.